hopefully everyone had a good day today, and now let's talk about the NASCAR race at Dover. 1 week after Talladega to the plate track, we go to a mile track that's very similar to Bristol, but just a lot faster. And before the race even started, we already had some news when Kyle Larson, who qualified on pole, ended up failing pre-race inspection 3 times, which means his car chief gets ejected, and then he has to go to the back of the pack, which then oddly enough, Kyle Larson would say he actually enjoyed, because he thinks it's more fun to come from the back, so that's why a lot of people love the guy. But I think most people can agree the first stage was definitely the most interesting stage because it had something that I don't think we've ever seen before when stage racing was introduced, I think last year, and that was fuel mileage. So what happened was we had 2 early cautions early on in the race. Some people decided to pit, some people didn't. So guys like Larson and Bowman, they pitted on the first caution and then stayed out on the second one, while most of the leaders and most of the guys up in the top 15 stayed out on the first caution and pitted on the second caution. This would cause a strategy thing because then it would go green until the end of the stage, with fuel mileage playing a huge part. Drivers could go about around 95 to 100 laps on fuel. There was about 100 laps left to go in the stage, so everyone was really trying to push it. And basically you'd have actually at the end of the stage it not work out for a lot of guys. So Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman, doesn't work out for them because they had a pit with around 20 to go. They were hoping for a caution anytime between the 20 laps to go and when it went back green. But for Kyle Larson, he also gets an uncontrolled tire penalty, so he ends up going down 3 laps at the end of stage 1. And the leaders are just trying to save fuel. That's really what they're trying to do. Harvick's trying to save fuel. Keselowski's saving fuel. Kyle Busch is putting the clutch in and just coasting through most of the corner, trying to save fuel. And all these crew chiefs are trying to tell these guys to save as much fuel as possible, mainly because if you run out at the end of stage 1, you're putting yourself in a really, really precarious position. And just makes crew chiefs, like Adam Stevens said, he doesn't want to look stupid. Denny Hamlin would run out with 2 laps to go in the stage, and these cars, nowadays, they don't completely run out. Like, there's always an emergency reserve fuel, so when the car sputters, it still gets a little bit of fuel to keep it going. So Denny Hamlin ran out with 2 to go, was able to cross the start finish line and come all the way back around, just sputtering, staying on the lead lap, and was able to stay on the lead lap when the stage ended. Then you just had to come right down pit road and just fill it up. So they got pretty lucky with that. But mostly everyone was able to make it on fuel. Eric Jones, I don't think, was able to make it. He had to coast down pit road. He went down a lap, but he was able to try to fight his way back. So it was just a very interesting way for the stage to play out because it felt like the end of the race, but it was only the end of stage 1. So I guess that's what NASCAR was kind of going for with stage racing. This is the first time we've ever seen fuel mileage play a part in the end of a stage. Because usually teams, calculate it on the button. If they want to race the stage backwards, usually you just pit early enough and you're able to go. But this time, just with the way the caution naturally fell, the whole thing about fans wanting the race to go naturally, well, the caution fell in a very natural way to where teams were not able to make it on fuel without saving a little bit. So that was a really interesting dilemma, and I thought the first stage was pretty cool just with that little factor involved in it. In the second stage, I came to a realization that Derek Cope was actually racing, and I didn't even know about this, and I didn't know Derek Cope was still capable to race. I mean, the dude's been racing for, a couple decades now? He ends up wrecking in 3 and 4, and I don't really understand. I think he's a part owner of Starcom Racing. I think that's the reason. I just don't understand why he's in the field. He's way past it. He's no offense. I mean, I'm just trying to say, if you want to put someone in that car, if you want to field the second car, I mean, put someone that does. I think Landon Castle deserves to be in the 00, but Derek Cope, put someone that deserves it. I don't know. Maybe put Justin Allgaier in the car. Give him a shot. Ryan Preece, Ryan Reed. I don't know. Pick someone from the Xfinity Series that wants a shot. Put him in that car. I don't see why Derek Cope still. That's just. I don't understand why that was happening. But back to the racing. Kevin Harvick would win stage 1. And then Kevin Harvick would also win stage 2. Stage 2 was pretty uneventful. It just kind of went through. Stage 3 also, there was a red flag with 80 laps to go. Like I said at the beginning, the first stage was definitely the most, I would say, interesting stage. The second stage, Keselowski and Harvick were able to battle for the lead, but they never really battled. Harvick just took a long time to pass him, like 30 to 40 laps. And then once Harvick got to his outside, he was able to definitely go around. It's just clean air. Once you get in the top 5 area with the restarts especially, and you'd see this at the end of the race, a little bit of strategy going on the last 100 laps. Like guys like Ricky Stenhouse, Joey Logano, they were able to get up towards the front just with a little bit of pit strategy. And Ricky Stenhouse just rockets to a 2-second lead. And it doesn't make sense because Ricky Stenhouse, you would think, It doesn't have the fastest car, hasn't shown much speed, but when you put a car in clean air, you put any car in clean air. And I mean, that thing just goes. For the first couple of laps, you are gone. And it's crazy. The first top five area, if you're in the top five, you're restarting the outside line even, like, you're going. You're going to gain about half a second just from being in better air than the guys in 10th, 15th, 20th. And it's crazy to think about.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Once the red flag would come out, Clint Bowyer was in the lead. For a second, we could have thought maybe it would have been rained out, but the rain just kind of came and went. Not a big deal. Drive the track for about 40 minutes, go back racing, and then Clint Bowyer he wasn't able to hold off Kevin Harvick, and that's not really a surprise. Harvick had the best car. I think the one guy that might have been able to challenge him, but we never saw it, is Kyle Larson, who deserves a big shout out because he was 3 laps down. He was able to get back on the lead lap through waiver rounds and through lucky dogs and was able to finish in the top 10. So definitely a good run for Larson. But Harvick was able to just pull away. He ends up winning by, I think it was around 7 to 8 seconds, and he proves his dominance yet again. 4th win of the season, which isn't surprising. I missed out on a detail with Kyle Busch. He actually, something mechanical with his car broke. The drive shaft ended up just being on the ground on the racetrack, so I have no idea what happened there. Most of the race, he was complaining that there was a vibration, something in the drive shaft. He predicted it. Just goes to show the feeling, the natural talent that Kyle Busch has in feeling what's wrong in the race car. He knew, and he knew most of the race, and he was just hoping they'd be able to race it out, but it wasn't able to go. So he gets a mechanical failure. He's done for the day. And now let's go to the race results, which is Kevin Harvick, Clint Bowyer, Suarez, Truex, and Kurt Busch. Obviously, one guy we have to point out here is Daniel Suarez. He's my driver of the day. I thought he was excellent most of the day. He finished the first stage in 4th, second stage in 6th. So he was running around the top 10 area most of the day, trying to creep into the top 5. He was never up there to challenge for the win, but I don't think his car was there either. And then you're able to see that he's able to get the best finish that I think he possibly could have gotten with a 3rd place finish. So it's definitely really good for Suarez. I said a couple weeks ago I need to see more from him because he isn't a JGR car, and just his rookie season, it's okay. Give him a pass. It's his rookie season. Second year, you kind of have to start showing a little bit more. And I was hoping I'd see some more from him. And today was definitely, I think Bristol as well, he did very well. So the concrete tracks seems to fit Suarez a little bit. And he did very well today, and he's definitely my driver of the day. Keselowski in 6th, Hamlin 7th, Blaney 8th, Jimmy Johnson 9th, Larson 10th, Almirola 11th, Elliott in 12th, Logano, Byron, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. round out your top 15. Obviously, you could see in the top 10, it is loaded with Fords and Toyotas, with 9th and 10th being Chevys. I'm not going to beat around a dead bush here. It's basically already known how I feel about the Chevys and how everyone knows how much they're struggling. I just think it's outright pathetic how poor Hendrick have been. Just a stat to push that point home, Jimmy Johnson hasn't led a lap this year. Not a single lap. He hasn't led a lap in 10 races. I never thought I'd have to say that with Jimmy Johnson still in NASCAR, that he wouldn't lead a lap in the first 10 races of the season. It's getting bad. And I don't know. Like I said, I'm not going to beat around dead bush. You guys already know. When are they going to get better? Stewart House Racing gets all 4 of their cars in the top 11. They're showing their strength again. I think in terms of depth, they have the most talent right now, the best race cars, even better than JGR, because JGR is struggling just a little bit with Eric Jones and Daniel. Well, not today, Daniel Suarez, but Eric Jones, for example, has been struggling a little bit. Denny Hamlin hasn't been able to show that race-winning speed yet. They're just kind of relying on Kyle Busch. Well, Kevin Harvick and Clint Bowyer and Kurt Busch and even Eric Almirola. I mean, Eric Almirola, I remember at Richmond was very, very fast, but he hasn't really gotten to a race-winning speed yet. But the other 3 cars have definitely shown that they could win a race and have won races with Clint Bowyer and Kevin Harvick. So they're definitely the strongest team right now. And then you guys could look at the rest of the lineup, 16th through 30th. Eric Jones, just want to point him out. He's been quietly kind of struggling the last couple of weeks. I hope he's able to pick it up. I have no doubts about his driving talent. Anyone who knows about Eric Jones knows he can drive a race car. We all know that. So that's not a problem. He definitely deserves that ride. It's just that the team's been struggling a little bit the last couple weeks, so hopefully he can turn it around. And the rest of the field, you can see Alex Bowman probably struggled a good amount today in 23rd. Bubba Wallace, again, but Bubba seems like he has those weeks where he disappears. and then the next week he'll have a good race. So I don't really know what's going on there. He's very on and off for most of the season. I don't know exactly what happened to Bubba. I didn't see him most of the race, honestly. Austin Dillon in 26, another driver that's need to see a little bit more. RCR have been struggling too, so it'd be kind of harsh to put blame on Austin Dillon when the entire organization is struggling. So I wouldn't do that to him either. And then 30th through 38th, you can see the back markers here. Kyle Busch, Paul Menard, Ryan Newman. Ryan Newman had a mechanical issue. Paul Menard had a mechanical issue. Kyle Busch had a mechanical issue. So that's why those three guys are in the back as well. Overall, I think the race was as good as it could have been. And what I mean by that is with the current package, that's the best race you're going to get. Just because clean air means so much that, through the second stage, you had a quote-unquote battle for the lead, They weren't really side by side a lot, but Harvick was pressuring Keselowski and just trying to find a way around. And once Harvick gets side by side, it's a done deal because again, these cars you can't really race side by side around them with this package at this track. So once you just get side by side with Harvick on the outside, he's gonna get past. But before that, he had to wait a while and just try to find the right line and be able to get around Brad Keselowski. So like I said, maybe with a number scale 7 out of 10, maybe. It could be a lot better with a better aero package, but again, not gonna beat around a dead horse here. We all know that. The current package that we have, I think that was as good as we're going to get. So just take it for what it is. Comment down below what you thought of the race. Next week we have Kansas, which is a 1.5 miles. Not too excited for that. And then Charlotte is after that. But the reason why I'm excited for Charlotte is because of the All-Star race and that package that is just going to be an unknown completely. So that'll be very interesting just to see what happens with the restrictor plates at Charlotte. Coke 600, not going to be excited for that either because it's a 1.5 miles, long 600 miles. And I might make a video here soon just about that, about length of NASCAR races that I've been thinking in my head for a while. And I've been so against shortening races for my entire life as a NASCAR fan. But over the last couple months, I've thought about it. I might make a video there just explaining my reasonings and opinions and having your guys' input on that as well. So keep an eye out for that whenever I decide to make it, because I finally am done with finals, so I can finally just be able to make my videos again. So guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. If you like the video, make sure the like button. If you enjoyed the race, if you didn't like the race, if you didn't like the winner, if you did like the winner, comment down below. Let me know what you thought. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Hope you're having a fantastic day, and peace out.
Even if I tried, even if I wanted to, and I can't change. Even if I tried, my love, she keeps me warm.